All right, I'm Nick. Today we're going to answer a question that came in an email, and I'm going to go back to answering these questions via YouTube. That way I can give the answer to several people instead of one person, okay? Before I tell you the question, I am going to say that over the last 2 or 3 years, I've kind of got away from, we'll say, ruffling feathers. I tend to just say what I'm thinking. I understand what I say and the reactions that it caused. I just don't really care. But I've tried to limit myself from upsetting the masses for a long time, but it makes it hard to make videos like this and answer questions because I'm going to hurt someone's feelings. But I'm going to start answering these questions again like this. I'm just going to be blunt. I'm being professional. I'm just being blunt, okay? So we're going to get started. Nate wrote in, and Nate asked about the difference between an Old Town PDL Drive and a NuCanoe Pivot Drive. And he said he had a few questions about the Pivot Drive versus the Old Town PDL. Currently, he has a PDL 106. Drive feels pretty good, but sometimes it feels like I'm pedaling up a hill after a few minutes of pedaling. I was looking at getting another kayak like the NuCanoe Unlimited. I was curious about how the drive feels compared to the Old Town PDL. I figured you'd be the best person to ask since you've used the PDL for a long time and I've watched videos of you with the Pivot Drive. Now, I have fished from the Pivot Drive. I've caught some quality fish. I have compared it to the PDL Drive. Here's a little bit of overlay of me catching a nice redfish from the NuCanoe. I think that was the Frontier 12 with the Pivot Drive. I have gone on there and I checked NuCanoe to see if they had updated the Pivot Drive. I don't believe they have. That video is when I made the video about the NuCanoe, which I'll put a link below and a link up here. That video is about 2 years old. I didn't fish from it very long. I did receive the kayak from the owner of NuCanoe, a super nice guy. He actually dropped it off at the house. I didn't say anything poorly about the kayak in the review. I don't think it's a bad system. I just don't think it's nearly as good as the Old Town PDL. To be blunt, the drive is extremely slow. The belt system on the pedal drive, which I have a video of, I could put that in right here. You can see how it's very choppy when you pedal and like the belt is stretching, which is a very weird feeling. You can also reference some of NuCanoe's videos. It is extremely slow. The pedal drive itself, the Pivot Drive, is slow. But if you think the Old Town PDL Drive has too much torque, you can either pedal slower or you can get the Pivot Drive and there's no torque. It's very, very easy to use, but you literally feel like you are going nowhere. And you are going nowhere because when I filmed the videos of the NuCanoe, Jamie was fishing with me. We spent a lot of time on the water during the winter. You could tell I had like, waist waders on in a lot of those videos, and it was cold. But the kayak was so slow compared to the PDL that Jamie had to wait on me to get back up a river. Like, I mean, legitimately wait on me. He could pedal circles around me as I pedaled in a straight line, and he could keep up with me. So it's not that it's bad. I could have caught fish in it, but I couldn't catch fish efficiently, or better yet, more efficiently in it than I could the Old Town PDL Drive. So it was a no-go for me. We don't even need to get into the boat because the boat could have been the best boat in the world. The Pivot Drive stood no chance in the ballpark or the realm or my idea of going to catch fish. At no comparison. Not possible, and my goal is to catch fish. There's nothing else to it. Now, does NuCanoe make a cool system that you can mount trolling motors to? That's great. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the pedal drives themselves. Other concerns, a really cool feature of the Pivot Drive was you're pedaling forward, I run over a tree, and it's really cool, and here's a video of that. We should be able to just go over this log. I hadn't tried this yet. Oh, we might get stuck. No, we're gonna go. Look at that. We just pedaled. I didn't make it. I wasn't going fast enough. Put that on the blooper reel. Very classic. I pedaled over the deer though. Oh, there it is. We're gonna do it. Did we make it? Look, we're making it. Look at that. That's it, we're keeping it in there. You guys should see it. That is, although it may seem ridiculous and silly, and we might have took it to like the maximum extent of craziness, that is what it's for, right? That is the whole purpose of it. Now I go over this tree, and that is awesome. You pedal, it kicks back, it kicks back in place, or locks back in place. Hit a sand flat and it tips up a little bit. That stuff is awesome, but that's completely useless if the gear ratio and the power is so abysmal that I can't go anywhere. Like if you live in a fishery with large bodies of water and you want to go from point A to point B, or even a small body of water, you're gonna be pedaling around that bad boy all day, you need to be able to cover water quickly, okay? Other main concern for me is, what if you get a fishing line in that propeller? Or what if you get weeds in that propeller? With the PDL drive, it's between your feet, you pop it up, you do your work, no big deal. What happens if you're offshore in 70 feet of water and something crazy happens behind you? Things happen, okay? Don't think you're not gonna pick up random fishing line pedaling around that's attached to nothing, because that happens. And now how do you get back there to fix it? You gotta go swimming, a mile and a half off the beach? I don't want to do that personally. What if it's the middle of winter and you're trying to chase a blackfin tuna and you got a line back there? This doesn't work for me, okay? So those are the reasons that I would not use a NuCanoe Pivot Drive as my main fishing kayak pedal system. I just personally wouldn't do it, okay? We'll just retouch on that. Extremely slow. Is this slow? Inefficient? The ability to turn back there is cool. Maintenance problems on the water, line tangling, weeds. For me, the answer is 100% no. I didn't want to bash the company or the kayak, and I still don't. I just don't think it is the most efficient system possible. The torque ratio and the amount of effort you have to use in your legs to push the Old Town PDL, I understand. It does feel hard. Just go a little bit slower. You don't have to pedal that hard. If you really just find a nice little cadence, the 106 is a little bit slower, but the 120, the big water, man, those kayaks will do 3.5 miles per hour extremely easy, okay? So those are my thoughts. I got a little bit of rambling. Nothing against NuCanoe. That is just the facts of how I feel about it, right? Just an opinion. Feel free to destroy me in the comments. I really not too concerned about it. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you've used both, if you think one is better than the other, maybe NuCanoe Drive is better and I'm crazy. Let me know below. That's great. Thanks for watching.